Kane Vision welcomes in John Barfeld, the head softball coach at the University of Tulsa. And hey, later this week you get it going and you go to some warm weather places, obviously, to get started for your season, huh?
Right. We have a lot of away games on weekends, but our team is ready to start seeing some different pitchers, some opposing teams. After getting to scrimmage against each other for quite a bit in January, and we're just ready to get the ball rolling.
Well, give us a sense for how it's gone in the preseason, because every year is different. You're cobbling together a new team.
Yeah, and when they come back from Christmas, they're obviously have a lot of rust on them, and so as the weeks go on, you see the rust get knocked off, and you see them getting better and better. And we had some really good weather last week, where we got out for 4 or 5 days in a row, and so we were able to get some live work in, and you could just see the team rounding back into game type shape and making plays, like you remember them making last year. And so that's exciting to see the players, getting into that point.
Well, and as much as you appreciate the turf gym inside of maybe, it's not like being outside. I mean, getting outside is really important. It's as much as you can, right?
Right, and outside gives us a chance to, fielding balls off the dirt is so much different. And then when we go to away, venues, the dirt's even going to be different than what we practice on. And so, there's always a getting used to curve that happens in February when you go to different tournaments. But also, being outside gives us a chance to see live pitching. That's not something that we usually do indoors. There's just too many things to break in there.
And of course, in the early season last year, as good as you ended the season last year, at the beginning you did struggle defensively, didn't you? I mean, there's always that adjustment, but boy, at the end of the year, you guys were humming.
Right, and we made 5 defensive switches after the first weekend last year, and then that really calmed down our defense and got them into roles where they knew where they were going to be, and it just made our team stronger defensively. And that's one of our goals, to be the best defensive team in the conference, and that's where we ended up last year.
All right, let's talk a little bit about roles. First of all, in the field, I know that Shelby Estacado has the possibility of moving. So what are the pieces that you're moving around a little bit, at least initially?
Right. We lost 2 players, so we lost third base and right field is basically what we lost. And then Shelby has just been a great, versatile, athletic player for us. She was an all-conference shortstop, moved to center field to help make the team better last year, and so we're moving her back into Maggie's old role at third base, and so she's going to move in there, and then that allows us to move our most experienced outfield, Julia Hollingsworth, into center field, and so now we've got 2 holes in right and left. That when I say holes, I mean that there's a lot of players vying for competition, out there. Michaela Witten is going to get the first shot in left field, very athletic player, has learned a lot, in her freshman year in terms of, what Division I pitchers pose problems to her. And then, there's just, a lot of players. Haley Minen does a great job in the outfield, but I like her as a relief pitcher. And so she'll get some time in right field, but we need to find somebody that's also going to go out there and play when she's in, when we need her in a pitching role. And so we've got a number of players that it's just going to come down to, who can adapt, because some of them are freshmen, who can adapt to the Division I pitching the quickest.
And of course, hitting-wise, you're going to miss the Withies. Obviously, Maggie, hit about the 370 last year for you. But you do have the Julia Hollingsworth and the Tori Staffords and some of those coming back. So you have some experienced bats coming back.
Right. We played 5 sophomores and 2 juniors in our starting lineup at the end of last year, and you look for those 7 core players, to really lead our offense. And then, then you've got 2 spots down there at the bottom where it's either a player that, like a Michaela Witten, or a freshman player that is going to, come in and win a spot down there. And so, we're looking for those 7 players to really give us a boost offensively, pick up any slack, and it's going to come from a collectively. But we also look back at a player like Shelby Estacado. She was our best offensive player as a sophomore, and just got into a year-long slump last year. We'd love to see her return, to her sophomore form, and that picks up a bunch. And then you've got players like Julia Hollingsworth and Morgan Neal and Tori, like you said, that have been 2-year starters. And my experiences have been that usually those players understand things a little bit more, and they usually do a lot better job as far as swinging at pitches that they want to hit.
And of course, offensively, college softball for a long time kind of went to the small ball and bunt and all that sort of thing. But there is the benefit of having a big bopper, somebody can hit home runs, and you've had that through your time here. Although last year was not one of those teams that was power laden. Are you does it look like you'll have any better power numbers this year? Or you don't know.
Well, Shelby hit 11 her sophomore
Right.
year, and so you think players like Julia Hollingsworth, who you end up with 5 last year, she has the ability of power. Haley Minen does, Tori does. It's just a matter, Riley Spell does as our catcher. And so it's just a matter of, will we have somebody, like you said in the past, where we've been able to do it on somewhat of a consistent basis, where they end up with double-digit home runs or something like that.
And Riley Spell is your returning catcher, and you have pretty good trust in her, obviously, to receive and be able to call plays or call pitches from the side and all that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, she really, that was one of the defensive switches we made after the first weekend. We saw how well she received the ball and presented the ball to the umpire, and she does a great job of presenting that ball and getting good strikes and handling our pitching staff. And so, I think that, she's just a strong hitter. It's just a matter of, can she stay calm enough and then pick the pitches that she wants to drive. And, I always tell her, I says, man, you're so strong. I said, you don't even need to worry about pulling the ball or anything like that. Just get the barrel to the ball. So we'll see. We're looking for some improvement out of her from the bat, but she gives you so much defensively.
And then pitching-wise, the ones that'll be throwing to Riley, obviously Watson to start with, but what kind of give us that lineup?
Yeah, Watson will start off, obviously an All-American pitcher coming back, and you had a lot of pitchers returning that had a lot of experience. So when you start with a strong core like that with Haley Minen, Madison Higley got some time, and they all put up some decent numbers, in some short spurts. But and then we added 2 freshmen to the mix with Samantha Pokop and then Aaron Harris. And Sam, after the fall, Sam really moved into our number 2 spot as far as the starting pitcher goes. And so, we'll probably start Aaron in our 3 starting spot. And that just kind of depends on Madison. Madison missed the entire fall. And so, so Madison and Aaron will probably look for some time to get some third starter starts for us and just see which one kind of emerges for us there. But pitching staff looks strong. We like to use Haley in a relief role. She was very effective at doing that last year. She's comfortable with that, and so we'll probably continue to use her in relief.
Well, Emily Watson with 350 strikeouts and about 250 innings. 14 shutouts, 30-6 record, ERA about 1.25. I don't know how you can top that, but how do you keep her on the beam, and how do you even make her better?
Well, and I just think that, you're right. I don't think you want to go into the season saying, can I top that?
Yeah.
You just got to go into the season and saying, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give my best effort every game. And her best effort's pretty good. And so I'll take that any time. And there was a lot of times, and I told the team this, I said, I feel like it's going to be harder on us this year than it was last year. I said, obviously we have a target on our back with some of the preseason rankings that are coming out. And, there were so many close games that we won last year. Yeah. Extra inning ball games, a lot of one-run games. I think if I looked back at the stat, I think we were 19-10 in one-run games. That's 29 out of our, almost 60 games.
Yeah.
That's one-run games,
Yeah.
Close games that, we were the ones that battled through it. And that's the type of team that we were last year, and I expect us to be the same type of team this year too.
Well, ranked number 20 in the nation, picked number 1 in the American, and as you mentioned, kind of have a target on your back. At the same time, as you continue to grow the program, I know one of these years, I don't know what the slogan is you're using, but you want to knock that door down and become a team that gets to the super regional and then threatens to get to the big dance. Huh?
Yeah, it's always a goal. And when you're a major program and you get some of the recognition that you're getting, and with some of the preseason rankings, that's a really good feeling to have. And we've been close. And anytime you've got a team that loves to go out there, compete, and loves to play for each other, which I believe this team is the same as it was last year. You'll take that, and you'll take them giving us a chance to win a regional, and getting to farther along. And so, we've been there, like you said, a number of times. I really think this team has the ingredients to do that again. And but we have to go out and prove it, and I really put the message out to them. It's going to be tougher this year than it was last.
Yeah, so it's time to get after it. And of course, you have 5 games in Lake Charles, Louisiana, 5 games in College Station, Texas, 5 games in Boca Raton. You're going to get a bunch of games in early. What do you expect, or what are you looking in the next 3 weeks to see from your team?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because this is the first time that we're going to start out on the road 7 straight weekends, and but then we usually at the end of the year we have to go win on the road in a conference tournament and a regional tournament. So, we're just looking to see that come out and give that consistent effort. And play like an experienced club that we are, and if you can do that, I like I said, I have a lot of faith in the talent on this team in terms of all phases of the game, and so we're just looking forward to getting after it.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to seeing the Hurricane. Season starting later this week, but it'll be another month before Tulsa's at home as they begin things on March 9th against Drake, and then of course the home American schedule. Oklahoma State, I believe, comes to Tulsa. OU will come to Tulsa, so it's a great home schedule, and we look forward to that as well. Have a safe road trip, or trips if you will, Coach.
All righty, thank you, Bruce.
Head coach John Barfeld, University of Tulsa softball.